Good afternoon, everybody. It's probably reasonably easy to work out who's who. I'm Juliette Kennedy. I'm the Operations Director for NATS. And this is Larry from NAV Canada, but you probably already guessed that.
With a different accent.
So, we're going to talk to you about the change from paper to digital in the terminal control operation. Traditionally, over about the past 60 years, a controller has had four things that are really important to them: a radar screen, a headset, paper, and a pen. And until last year, the controllers in the London terminal control operation were still using paper. Last year, we replaced their paper with the NAV Canada electronic strip system Exceeds. Just to give you a bit of context around that, terminal control is the busiest part of the UK operation. It covers roughly the southeastern corner of the UK. It's not just London. And the controllers in that operation work traffic up to about flight level 210. And that includes the approach function for the 5 main London airports. They handle about 1.5 million flights a year, around 5,000 a day on the busiest days, and an average of about 4,000 flights a day. It's a really high-tempo, really congested operation. The safety environment is challenging. Almost all the traffic wants to climb or descend. The separation standard they use is 3 miles. The airspace is old-fashioned and needs updating. And we rely really heavily on our people. They have to be match fit every single day. And talking about the people, there are 280 ATCOs. That's a mixture of area and approach ratings. There are multiple sectors to control. The controllers were highly skilled on paper. And like probably many of your controllers, they weren't very enthusiastic about a major change to their fundamental system. Exceeds is part of the NATS £1 billion transformation programme, which we need to do to meet the growth that we expect, to improve efficiency and to reduce our impact on the environment, whilst, of course, maintaining or improving safety.
So the short video you're about to see will show you what it was before and what it is now. And shortly after that, I'll talk about the collaboration between NATS and NAV Canada during the implementation process. So I was observing the crowd, as many of you were nodding, acknowledging that the way it was before, and now this is the way it is today. And obviously, you can only imagine under such undertaking, the coordination and collaboration that was needed in order to achieve that. And right from the get-go, starting in 2014, there was a lot of discussion in the requirement area, as well as the decision, which we believe is key, to bring cross-functional teams between NAV Canada and NATS to make sure that we were moving at the right pace and implementing some of the small changes based on the feedback of the subject matter expert. And by the number of people that were involved, the numbers of station that we had to modify, and the training hours, you can only imagine the scope of this project and the success story you're hearing today. And despite the fact that NAV Canada had used the system for 19 years, we had continuous testimony from each staff, the NATS staff and the NAV Canada staff, of the experience and knowledge gained during the process. And it was invaluable. From an ATCO point of view, pretty enriching. Julia?
So the headline there is absolutely spot on. Communication and transparency was completely vital to the success of this project. First of all, with the controllers, who had a strong cultural attachment to their paper strips and who were nervous about change. And secondly, communication with our airline and airport customers, who were anxious about the impact of the transition on their businesses. Before we started, my general manager of terminal control likened the change to doing open heart surgery while a patient runs a marathon. So what did we do? Well, we were open and honest and transparent with all the stakeholders, including the media. We involved the controllers in the design, and we iterated the design as we went through the transition in the light of their feedback. We worked with them to develop workload and situational awareness measures so that they could see data which made them feel more comfortable. We planned the transition really carefully. We split it into 5 phases, and we engaged with the airlines and airports very early, more than 18 months ahead of the first transition. That meant that we were able to explain why and how we would make the change, and also to work with them to minimize the disruption to their businesses. Splitting the transition into 5 phases meant that only one part of the terminal control operation was impacted for each transition, so they were able, in some cases, to work routes around affected airspace, which helped them. We worked really hard to forecast the delay, because delay that they know is going to happen is easier to manage than delay that just pops up on the day. And we also invited the airlines most likely to be affected by each transition to come to Swanwick for the first couple of days of each transition, which they did, which meant that they were really up to date on progress, and they were able to communicate any operational decisions they had to take straight to our teams. We held multilateral telephone calls every day during the transition. I'm trying to think how many. I think it was more than 150 telephone calls we did, conference calls. And we were also really honest with the media, the broadcast media. We invited them to come and visit so that they could see firsthand what it was we were going to do. The airlines, airports, and the media then could explain to their teams and to the passengers why there might be delay. That didn't reduce the delay, but those who were impacted by it at least understood that everything was being done to manage it. And now I'm going to show you another small film. No, I'm not. So to the important bit then, delivering the benefits. This has delivered some really key benefits to us. It's given us conformance monitoring for the first time in terminal control, selected flight level versus cleared flight level. It's enabled electronic coordination between the sectors and automatic onward transmission of data. It was delivered on time, on budget, and with less delay than we originally forecast. And we're almost a year on from the introduction now. The final transition was at the end of June last year. And we've seen a significant improvement in the safety performance in the terminal control operation. The capacity has increased on almost every sector, some very significantly, because the controller workload was reduced. There's an annual fuel saving to the airlines, which you can see of 3.92 kilotons. The delays in the terminal control operation have reduced. And slightly more fluffy, but no less important, it means that the terminal control culture has changed and is now more open to change. It was an operation which had not changed in any significant way for a long time, and it's important that the controllers who work there are able to be confident that we can deliver change effectively into their operation. And what I think Exceeds has shown is that by working truly collaboratively with all the stakeholders, we can deliver the air traffic management that we need for the future. Thank you.